Alright, this is early morning Victory Vision rear tire removal. We have a Harbor Freight ATV lift. Goes right underneath the back edge of the motor and behind kickstand. Leave it down just in case. First thing you want to do is crawl on the ground and be old. So you got your shock mount here, and then your link here. You can see when you take the bolt out, wherever I did with it, I don't know where I did with it. It's 15 millimeter nut on the backside bolt. Jack it up. The camera's going sideways. Jack it up to where you take the tension off, bolt slides out. So then when you jack the bike up, this allows your swing arm to have play. These are your alignment nuts and bolts. There's a little ring that goes through on the inside. You don't mess with those, keep the alignment the same. There's the back side of the caliper. As you can see, the hole that goes through there, the axle goes all the way through. There's your two spacers, your big ones on the brake side, this right side of the bike, and like I said, it usually drops out. The left side, the smaller one, it stays inside of the hub in front of the bearing, and pull it out so it don't fall out. So as far as the axle, this is what I was talking about. This gets kind of gummed up since it's exposed outside. So basically, once you get your link loosened up and you can raise the bike up to where this is exposed below the pipe, loosen this nut till really just right about flush. There's a good amount of the threaded sticking out when it's all the way pushed in or all the way screwed tight. So you loosen this nut up, you push the whole axle forward, exposing the keyed end of the shaft, which allows you to take this piece off. This piece, when the axle's all the way in, slides down on that keyed end of the shaft, and that's basically what holds your axle in. So loosen up that big nut, smack it out this way, take this off, then the axle goes all the way back out through this side. And like I said, this is just goes through that hole and everything's lined up. So when you put the wheel back in, jack it back up, wiggle the tire back in there, get it all the way forward, get the belt on, and then yes, you gotta keep those spacers in the hub without falling out. And the small one's easy, a little bit of grease cleaned up, it stays in. The big one always wants to tip out. So when you're putting this all back in from this way, you have to go through the swing arm, through the adjustment on this side, through the hole of the brake caliper, and then the small spacer is on this side, so that's one less thing to worry about. But then yes, what happens is on the other side, putting it back in, is if you don't have it quite lined up right, once you get it in so far, the end of the axle knocks out the big one. And it's a bitch trying to get it all lined up. You got to get the bike just even. You know, you got to find your your happy space to where everything's all nice and lined up. And then as far as once everything is in there and you got your axle in and your catch washer, whatever the hell you want to call it, in, you know, just put it all back together and leave it loose. Then you can take the tire, the wheel, and you want to push it forward to where these are touching. I did that the one time. I had it cocked off a little bit, and the one spacer, or the one adjustment nut, wasn't all the way flush. So when everything's all back together, the belt's on, all this, the axle's through, you want to push the wheel forward. Don't pull it back. You want to push it forward to where that adjustment, this one won't move because I got it tie strapped to keep the brake line from hanging and putting pressure on it. So yes, you want these adjustable nuts pushed all the way up against the end of the swing arm. So then your belt adjustment should be exactly the same. Anytime I have it gone back to the dealer for anything, I always tell them, make sure, since I've had the wheel off, to check the belt tension, and they say it's always been fine. So if your belt is fine as it is, tension, adjustment, do not move those nuts. There's no reason to. There's enough play and slop once you get the axle out to get everything apart. So I know that's a little bit of a quick version. I don't think to do it. Oh, well, I'm thinking about it. The axle nut, in case anyone asks. This is 1 1/16. So you need a 15 millimeter for the bolt for the swing arm link, and I know there's a metric version of this that's the same or close enough, but this is, yeah, 1 1/16 for the axle nut. So I won't repeat myself. The jacks, as far as a separate topic, you know, they do hold the bike, they do hold it level, but if you leave it up without the lock legs down, which I did yesterday, and I came out and sure as shit it started dropping and seeping down on me. Always keep a jack stand handy. This is a good solid point. Get it to where you need to be. Put that up there in case it does happen to slip, slide, or move or whatever. But other than that, yeah, it's really probably honestly about a 20-minute job, as long as you, like I said, once you loosen this up and push it through to get that washer off, take some Scotch-Brite or something. You know, you don't need to worry about, I won't say, you know, don't worry about scarring it up, because this part is always outside the swing arm and exposed. That's why it gets all gunked up. So, and that was why I could not pull it all the way through. I had to bang on it a little bit, and I know that's not good, because you don't want to mushroom that end. Then you're really up shit's creek. So always remember to polish that up a little bit and get the dirt and gunk, so when you're trying to pull it through the not the hub, the bearings, that everything comes out nice and easy. So then, yeah, once you are putting it back together, clean the spacers up, grease them up on the outside, and then per the manual, you're only supposed to grease up this part and this part, which of course, once you put grease on it, and then once you slide it through, it's gonna give you a coating on it anyway. So I guess it's just the whole point of, you know, you don't want to put too much on there. But other than that, that's it. They come off real easy. I'm gonna change the brake pads while I'm out here. I can't tell if you can tell. That's looking pretty thin. I'd say that was definitely ready for a change. Got that from Witch Doctors. I'm sure, yeah, you could get them cheaper somewhere else, but, you know, who else is going to give you a Tootsie Rolls with brake pads? Anyway, I'm going to post this. It's probably longer than I want it to be. Shit, almost 10 minutes. This might take like an hour to upload. Anyway, any other questions? I'll take some just standalone pictures also. All right, visionaries. Have a great day.